Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our NSDF Hearing How to Participate webinar. First, I would like to acknowledge the Algonquin Nations, whose traditional and unceded territory most of us are gathered upon today, and certainly where the near surface disposal facility is being proposed. My name is Mitch McKay. I'm the manager of stakeholder relations for the environmental remediation management side of Canadian Nuclear Laboratories. I am joined today by my colleagues, Sandra Fott, who is the manager of NSDF licensing, Mike Labriola, who is the NSDF safety and licensing analyst, and Bill Daly, who is the Director of ERM Licensing Communication. This is a 1-hour webinar designed to help those who are interested in intervening at the NSDF hearing. We hope that we can show you how to participate, answer any questions you may have, both about how to intervene or about the project itself, in order to help you complete your intervention. The agenda today is we'll start off with an overview video of the project. We'll then turn it over to Sandra, who will walk us through why we want to build the NSDF, and then details on how to participate in the CNSC hearing process. Finally, we'll wrap things up with a question and answer program where people can ask outstanding questions about the NSDF or how to participate in the intervention. You can ask the question through the Q&A function. This is a Teams live event, so there's no audio or video for the participants in this webinar. All questions can be asked through the Q&A function, which is available in your bar on the top of the software. Oh, and sorry, I should point out that Bill Daly will be doing the details on how to participate in the CNSC hearing process. If you think of questions that may come to you after the process or after this webinar, you can always email us at ermstakeholder@cnl.ca, and we will follow up with any of your outstanding needs or questions. This webinar is available today only in English. We will be recording it and posting it on our YouTube channel with French subtitles in the coming days. We will also be conducting a bilingual webinar on the same topic on March 22nd. There is no registration required for that webinar. Okay, so without further ado, I'll get us started on our first topic, which brings us to the video. All right. Okay, so I will thank you for the video, Margo, and I'll turn it over to Sandra.
Actually, I'll take it from here, Mitch.
Or Bill. Sorry.
No worries at all. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bill Daly, Communications Director. I've been with CNL for about 10 years, and I've been currently working with the team here as we're moving towards our hearings for our proposed near-surface disposal facility. So I hope that short video kind of gave you a bit of a refresher on sort of what the facility is and how it will operate. Now I'd like to talk about the reasons why CNL has decided to put forth this proposal and particularly the benefits of the NSDF. So as I'm talking through these benefits, perhaps they might be helpful to you as you consider what you might write into your submissions if you do choose to go ahead and participate in this process, which Sandra will talk about when I'm finished this brief part of the presentation. So first of all, what are the benefits? So briefly, number one is, well, it's the environment. So the NSDF is being proposed as the permanent solution for low-level waste at the Chalk River Laboratories site. What this means is that by transferring the waste, which is being generated and has been generated over the years, from temporary storage to permanent storage or permanent disposal, we can move away from managing this in a temporary way. Of course, what does it mean? Well, temporary is just that. It means that over time, these kind of management practices, they degrade, they have to be changed, and ultimately, this way of handling this waste is not sustainable for the long term. So instead, by disposing of this waste in a permanent facility designed to isolate the waste from the environment, we can move away from that temporary storage and temporary management and further reduce the risk to the surrounding environment. By isolating the waste and having controls in place at the facility, including wastewater treatment, we will be further and better protecting the environment, including the Ottawa River. And of course, we will be validating that through extensive environmental monitoring. You may be aware that as the Chalk River Laboratories site is already a licensed site, there is extensive environmental monitoring of the air, the ground, the soil, the water, and that will only actually increase when we have the NSDF in place if it is approved, because there will be specific monitoring to verify that the NSDF is not having any impact on the surrounding environment or the river. Next slide, please. So why else? Well, another reason is for science, again, what CNL does here is we are trying to advance nuclear science and technology for a clean and secure world. As you saw in the video, that's what's been happening for the last 70 years. The work we've done at Chalk River Laboratories has been for the benefit of millions of people. And this is the reason we do what we do. And today, our missions are evolving with the times as we continue to do research in the health sciences to fight cancer and other diseases, as we advance technology and research into technology that it can help with Canada's and the world's effort to reduce carbon emissions and fight climate change. And we need to do this by modernizing our campus. You may be aware that over the last few years, we've started to take down old, outdated structures and facilities in order that we can build new ones to keep pace with what the needs are of today. Though those buildings and facilities at the time were used for groundbreaking science, they've reached the end of their life, and we need to now build appropriate structures and buildings so that we can continue to do things in a way that is keeping pace with the needs of the modern world. Now, the NSDF is the enabling facility to allow us to modernize the Chalk River Labs. This is because all of that building rubble material that is being taken down needs to go somewhere in addition to the waste that is currently at Chalk River Labs. And by having the NSDF, we will be able to permanently dispose of that waste and make way for the modernization of the campus, and ultimately make way to continue to advance science and technology for the betterment of Canadians. Next slide, please. And this is for our community as well. So in a few different ways. First of all, if the NSDF facility is to be approved, then we anticipate that construction would start later this year. Now, the construction project would be massive. This is a big project requiring skilled labor, skilled trades, services, and supplies. It will generate the need for hundreds of workers. It will generate the need for subcontracts and businesses in the region for services and supplies and other needs. Also, beyond the construction phase, the NSDF will go into operation for many years, and that operation phase will also have requirements of jobs and services. And then again, connecting back to the previous point, the NSDF, of course, is the enabling facility for us to modernize our campus and keep moving forward with our laboratories. So that also, as a spin-off effect, generates opportunities for things beyond just the NSDF, but CNL's sort of activities overall. Of course, the local communities and local regions are engaged in this as we go forward. Next slide, please. And this is also for the future. So as I mentioned off the top, by taking care of this issue today, we are not leaving this for future generations. At CNL, we value safety, we value quality, we value accountability. We believe that this, we've done the homework and we've done the science, and we've concluded that this facility will be safe for people today, and it will be protective of the environment, and it will be safe for people in the environment long into the future, until such time that the hazardous material basically degrades or the radioactivity decays to a point where the hazard has gone away. And the facility is being designed so that it will be able to actually be effective for much longer a period than the hazard exists. And this is on purpose, because we now have the technology, we have the know-how, and we've done the work that makes us think we can do this right now. And that means that this has long and far-reaching benefits. The benefits are for the environment right now, because we will be further protecting the environment today by constructing this facility and placing the low-level waste inside it. And we will also be creating other spin-off opportunities from this endeavor for people today, but also in the long term for the people that come after us. So sort of in summary, the NSDF is being proposed as the long-term permanent solution for low-level waste at Chalk River for the benefit of people and the environment today and tomorrow. We will definitely have lots of time to answer your questions, and there's lots more detail that we can get into, but I hope that helps sort of frame some of the reasons why CNL has decided to take this action now. So with that, I think I'll pass it over to Sandra to talk about the intervention process itself. Thank you.
Sure, thanks, Bill. So my name's Sandra Fott, and I've been working on the NSDF regulatory approvals for about the last 3 years, and I've worked for CNL for almost 15 years. So various projects within decommissioning and waste management, and pretty happy to be part of this very exciting project. So how do I participate? So if you go to the next slide, please, Margo. The Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission has decided that we would have a two-part hearing, and you know, the hearing process is sort of the culmination of a number of years of work, public engagements, Indigenous engagements, and technical submissions that we've made to the CNSC. So the NSDF project is a designated project under the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act 2012. So we do require a decision from the Commission on the environmental assessment. We also require a decision from the Commission under the Nuclear Safety and Control Act. So CNL has submitted hundreds of technical documents and design documents in order to meet the requirements of the Nuclear Safety and Control Act. And the third decision is whether or not the Crown has met the duty to consult, and that's under the Constitution Act. So as mentioned, it is a two-part hearing. Part one was on February 22nd, and after being part of that, it feels like it was probably 3 months ago, not 2 weeks ago. But it was a full day. So CNL and CNSC staff both did presentations to the Commission. The presentations are on the CNSC website, or if you need help finding them, we can help that out. There's also 2 documents. They're called Commission member documents, one from CNSC staff and one from CNL. And those are also publicly available. And I know for sure those are also on the CNL website. The meeting was held virtually, and the webcast and transcript is available on the CNSC website. During the Part 1 hearing, it was indicated that Part 2 will be held in Pembroke, but there will also be a virtual option. So if you want to attend in person, you can attend at the location that they announce in Pembroke, or there will be a Zoom option. And it is in Part 2 that we will hear from Indigenous nations and members of the public on their thoughts on the proposed NSDF project. So this starts on May 31st, and it's expected to run several days and probably up to 3 weeks, depending on the number of interventions. And overall, the decision at the end of the day is related to the 3 topics I outlined at the beginning. And if accepted, CNL would have their license amended at the Chalk River site to proceed with the construction of the NSDF. Next slide. So who can be an intervener? So anyone with an interest or an expertise in the NSDF. So if you're attending today, obviously you have an interest in the NSDF project and can be an intervener. We are encouraging CNL staff to be an intervener, and that they disclose that they do work for CNL. But as staff members, you know, we live in the community. What Bill outlined at the beginning around the importance of the NSDF, those are all important to us as employees as well. So I do encourage staff to participate as well. So there are a few steps that need to be taken if you want to be an intervener. So there on the CNSC website, you would submit a request, and that you can do it online. You can do it by email, or you can also send in a fax or regular mail. And these need to be submitted by April 11th, 2022. Following that, the Commission Registry will acknowledge receiving your request and either accept or deny your request. And then your intervention will get a reference number, and that document will be publicly available. So essentially, right now, the CNL documents are labeled CMDH1A. So the numbers will just go sequentially, CMDH2, et cetera, and those will be available on the CNSC website. Next slide. So there's 2 types of interventions. So you can either submit intervention in writing, or you can submit an intervention in writing and make an oral presentation during the hearing. So if you choose to do a written submission only, the commission members will read all of the written submissions before the public hearing, and then the commission members could ask questions to CNL or CNSC staff regarding the contents of that written intervention. I see a question that came in. Will the CNSC read written interventions out loud during the hearing? I've seen both. I've seen it done a couple ways. I've seen them read the intervention out, but I've also seen them group written interventions together and then ask the commission members to say, do they have any comments on CMD 2 through 7, for example. And then the commission members would refer to whatever intervention they had a question on, and we would talk to that. Given the number of interventions we expect for the NSDF project, I do not expect that written interventions will be individually read out loud, but portions of that intervention may be during a question. So then the other option is to provide a written submission and an oral presentation. So you can submit your written submission before April 11th, and that can be your reference for your oral presentation on May 31st or sometime after May 31st. Or there is also an option that you can submit an actual presentation like a slide deck we're showing today a couple weeks before the hearing to support your written intervention. Members of the public are given 10 minutes to give their oral presentation, and they are pretty strict with that timing. And you will be given a notice that you've got 1 minute left or whatever. And then following the presentation, the commission members may ask a question to you as the intervener, to CNL, or to CNSC staff. At the bottom of this slide is a link to how to participate. So that's where you would go to submit your intervention if you wanted to do it online. Next slide, please. So essentially, there is a request form, and the form will ask you some basic information about yourself, how you want to participate, and then there's places that you can attach your written intervention. So there are questions about the date of the hearing. So Margo has filled in that it is on May 31st. The licensee is Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, and that's the subject. So again, if you wish to intervene, you can use that online form, or you can also submit an email to the registry to do that. Next slide. So the next steps, so where you can get additional resources if you have questions about your intervention, you can coordinate a meeting with a team member, and you can do that through the stakeholder@cnl.ca website. You could ask for an information package, which we would happily send to you. We do currently have a virtual I can't remember what we're calling it, a virtual center, public information center open right now at www.engagewithcnl.ca/NSDF, and there's information about being an intervener there. You can stay up to date with NSDF related news. We're putting lots of posts on social media, and we do encourage you to share information through those social media posts. Next slide. And that's the end of the formal presentation. I have seen some questions coming in, so I will turn it over to Mitch to get us going on that.
Thanks, Sandra, and thanks, Bill, for leading us through that. And yes, as Sandra has alluded to, now we have some time to answer any and all questions you may have related to to the process around intervening, or perhaps it's some lingering questions you have about the project itself and some technical aspects. So I'm happy to answer those as well. So I do see we have a couple coming in here, so I'll ask them, and then we'll let the team decide who can best provide the answer. So, what if my intervention doesn't fit into one of the themes? So I think they're referring to the CNSE has 4 different themes.
Yeah, Margo, I think you had a slide prepared. Maybe you can pull that up and I can speak to it, or Bill, I don't know if you want to. Okay. So because of the number of interventions that are expected for the NSDF hearing, the CNSC Commission, or Registry, sorry, they changed their name in January. The Registry has decided to put the hearing into 4 different themes. But essentially it would be up to this, if you don't pick which theme you want to be under, the CNSC Registry will assign you to a certain theme. You know, overall support for the project could easily fit into the environmental assessment theme for overall acceptance of the EA. But I wouldn't worry too much about if you don't feel you fit into one particular theme or another. The registry will sort that out.
Thanks, Sandra. All right, next question. We have a few more coming in here, so that's good to see. If I choose a written intervention, will it become public?
So the answer is yes. Written interventions do become public, and it will be available for download on the CNSC website.
All right, thanks again, Sandra. When will I know what day I have to do my intervention so I can make travel plans?
That's a great question, and I don't know that we can provide an answer for that today. As I mentioned, the interventions are due on April 11th, so the CNSC Registry will be very busy after April 11th, sorting out the schedule for the actual hearing. I expect likely by the beginning of May, we should have an idea of the overall agenda and how many days the hearing will last. Again, depending on where you're traveling from, there will be a Zoom option, or because they are doing it as a hybrid. So if it didn't work out with your travel, if you weren't able to travel to Pembroke because of some time commitments, hopefully it would work out that you could still participate by Zoom.
Thanks again, Sandra. And this sort of lends itself to that, what you were just saying, Sandra. Is there like, does the commission look at a virtual submission differently than they would in person? Is there a difference between them?
No, absolutely not. And I think, you know, obviously during the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone had to pivot. And I think that CNSC Registry actually has learned some advantages to being able to use the Zoom platform, as well as having in-person interventions. So they won't be treated any differently, whether they're Zoom or in person, but it provides a great option for those people that aren't able to travel or have a large distance to travel.
Okay, thanks, Sandra. Another person would like to know perhaps what kinds of questions the commission might ask an intervener.
So the questions would be related to whatever you had in your written submission or your oral presentation. I've seen like if you have a very specific interest in a topic, they might want to understand more what your concern is, or on the other hand, what your support is related to. It's really difficult to guess what the commission members are going to ask, but it will be related to whatever you personally have written or said.
Okay. And actually, the next question may even help with this as well. And can I watch any old CNSC hearings on the internet?
Yes, you can. And we have actually done that in our spare time. So on the CNSC website, when you go to the public hearing page, and maybe we can put a link to it in an email as a follow-up to this webinar. But up until the beginning of 2018, all of the previous CNSC hearings are on the website. And if there's one prior to 2018 that you don't see there, you can request that recording from the registry.
Thank you, Sandra. And to the previous question, that might actually be a good way of seeing what the commission typically asks when someone intervenes, like how they kind of structure their questions based on what you provide as your intervention. So a good point, and I'm sure we can send out some links to everyone that participated to be able to access some of these videos. Okay. Margo, you're going to have to bring up maybe that slide again, because the next question is about the 4 themes. So they're just asking for a brief recap of kind of what the four themes are for interveners.
Okay, so this slide shows the 4 themes, and I don't know for sure which order they're going to go in, but the way they're posted in the notice of hearing are in the order that I will say them. So the first one is the environmental assessment and environmental protection. So this will be questions around the environmental impact statements. So that included the air quality, ground and surface water quality, terrestrial biodiversity, and overall, the EIS has indicated the project is not likely to cause significant environmental effects. So that's the first theme. The second one is on Indigenous consultation and engagement. So again, the Commission needs to make a decision if the Crown has met its duty to consult. So the CNSC has been conducting consultation and have completed a rights impact assessment, and CNL has been conducting engagement with the 15 identified Indigenous nations since 2016. So that will be the second theme. The third one is the long-term safety case. So this theme includes the facility design, the pre-closure safety analysis. So this would be the safety analysis related to construction and operations. The post-closure safety assessment. So that is the long-term safety analysis, as well as information on waste characterization, waste inventory, and waste acceptance criteria. I will say that for those who are interested, the long-term safety case is really nicely wrapped up in our safety case document, which is on the CNL website with in both English and French. And then the fourth one is regarding the license amendment in general. So these are the requirements under the Nuclear Safety and Control Act. That we have our management system divided into 14 different safety and control areas. So there would be a discussion on those safety and control areas. So that might include occupational safety and health, human performance, fitness for service, those kinds of things, and other matters of regulatory interest. So if you look at the CNSC Commission members document or CNLs, other matters of regulatory interest include like our financial guarantee for the project, liability insurance, as well as the public information program.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. We just have 2 more questions left. One is, I want to submit a written intervention, but I am unsure how to structure it. Are there any examples you can send?
I can take that one. Yep, absolutely, we can. So we do have some examples ready and a little bit of a tip sheet. So what we'll do is we'll send out those again to everybody who's participated today. And of course, anytime you can contact us, we can walk you through it. We can talk to you more about the content. But yes, we do have various different types of examples that we certainly will share.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And maybe this is for you again, Bill, but if I choose to coordinate a meeting with a team member to help with my intervention, is that a private and confidential discussion?
Yes, if anyone wants to connect with us directly, then yeah, it would just be a private conversation. We wouldn't talk about what the content of it is, just really to help guide you and help answer any questions you have. So yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out it's not part of the regulatory or submission process. It's just a conversation. It's just help to answer. So there's nothing that goes on the record as far as the regulatory process goes. Okay. Well, that's it for questions. We don't have any new ones that have come in. So with that, we're up at 50 minutes here. So I think it's safe to start wrapping things up. So I'll thank everyone for attending today, and we do hope that you intervene and participate in the process. And I'd also like to thank our presenters today, Sandra, Bill. Thank you very much for your time as well. And as mentioned, this video will be going up on our YouTube channel, and we'll be happy to post it up there in both official languages. But I will remind you, if you do want a bilingual participation, we do have another one of these webinars on March 22nd. We actually do also have another webinar similar to this one in the Teams function on the evening of this Wednesday evening. So if you have friends or colleagues or family that are interested in this as well, please encourage them to come on out Wednesday evening, and you can find the details on our website. And as always, if there's any other lingering questions or comments, please do email us at ermstakeholder@cnl.ca. So again, thank you very much, everyone. And with that, I will say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.